Good morning, everybody. How you doing today? My name's Andrew.
I'm Grandpa.
I'm Petey.
I'm Lauren.
I'm Daniel.
I'm Tracy.
I'm Megan.
And we're some of the Veggie Boys. And we'd like to thank you for stopping by. If you're new here, please consider subscribing because we can grow a lot of things on the farm, but one thing we can't do is grow this channel without your help. Welcome back, everyone. It's so nice to see you. Right now, we're making our way into the farm market. We got all of our chores to take care of right away. We got to get the farm market set up. We got to get the animals fed, and we need to get our greenhouses watered. So we're quickly going to go through all of those, starting off with the farm market. We've got everything set up in the farm market the best we could. We're a little low on supplies. It's been pretty busy around here, which is pretty exciting. So we'll be able to fill up the farm market completely once Dad gets back from the wholesaler. There's a lot of missing spots over there. Dad is now back from the wholesaler, and boy, does he have a big load on the truck today. I guess we needed some potatoes, didn't we? You know, when it comes to potatoes, didn't we do something exciting yesterday?
We planted potatoes.
And guess what? I happened to have the camera with me as we were planting potatoes, so I'll show you how that went. We're currently working on planting potatoes. It's been going well so far, and right now we're filling the machine up with fertilizer. It's pretty neat. There's an auger that runs the entire length of the machine and fills 4 different compartments at one time. What varieties have you got planted so far?
We planted 2 varieties of red potatoes, Red Norland and Chieftain. And we planted a variety of yellow potato, which is called Norwis. And now we're on to our white potatoes, which is called Eva.
Now the potatoes that are going into the machine, the Evas, they are a very round white potato, which makes them really good for chips. And I've always liked harvesting them just because of how round they are. They just look cool. So far it's been going pretty well, but with that new planter, it's easy to see why. We've moved pretty quickly. We have been having a little trouble with the seed. A lot of it is sprouted pretty bad. Not all of it was, but this last variety is. So the boys are working really hard on the back of the planter to try and make sure that the potatoes drop down. You can see the discs are opening up, and then as it spins, it's dropping the potatoes down in, and it's supposed to close behind it. But we're having a little trouble with the potatoes falling down into the area where they can get grabbed. It's just something we're gonna have to deal with. I mean, it'll show up when harvest gets here. Are you about tired of this yet?
Yeah, I'm tired for the day.
The machine was working good up till now. That's what the issue is. It's just the eyes on these potatoes are so large. It's just something we're gonna have to deal with, and we'll pay for later on, but for now we're just trying to get it done. And thankfully it was only 20 bags of the variety that's like this. It's a newer variety that we're trying, so I mean, it's a little bit of pain, but hopefully it'll pay off. Dad is now cleaning out the planter, and that is it. We are finished with planting potatoes. We got quite a bit done, which I'm happy about, and the planter worked phenomenally. And the potatoes were great up until those last 20 bags. Those last 20 bags, I don't really want to talk about it. But now that we're done with potatoes, I'm pretty excited. It's just another big job taken off the board. Remember guys, potatoes is a crop we're really trying to work on. So if we can get our potatoes looking nice and we can have a better harvest this year, ooh, that'll be exciting. Wasn't that interesting? So hopefully if things go well, we'll have some nice potatoes here shortly. I mean, there's gonna be a lot of work leading up to potato harvest. I mean, we gotta fertilize, we gotta cultivate. There's gonna be a lot, but we'll show you every step of the way. People have been picking up a lot more vegetable plants today, so we just brought up an entire wagon load. We got all of that put out. And then I was in the greenhouse for a few minutes. I was helping Aunt Rhonda move things around. This has become like an everyday job, bringing stuff up, taking stuff down. We go up and down this hill quite a bit, but that's okay because as long as we can move our inventory, we're happy. And speaking of moving stuff around, I just made it down to greenhouse number 4, and Dad and Matthew are moving stuff onto the wagon. The stuff that we're going to be planting out in the fields, we're having a little trouble with keeping it watered, which is to be expected. These plants are getting larger and they are soaking up more moisture. We're hoping to get this stuff moved out of the trays today, but we can never be 100% sure. So hopefully if things work out well today, we'll be planting. I just got all of the cold crops on the wagon watered, and I got word that Daniel is actually out working up ground. So hopefully these will be going into the soil this afternoon. So I've got a few different jobs going on right now. I'm gonna get watering these greenhouses. I thought I wasn't gonna be watering, but I am. So I'm gonna work on getting these greenhouses watered. Dad right now, he is working on getting some stuff set up for planting. Daniel is still working up ground. And then once we get all of our jobs finished, we'll be one step closer to planting our cold crops today. And once I get finished, we should just about be ready to get our planter set up. So we've got a lot going on. Everybody's working on a different job, but things are going smoothly. Just got finished watering greenhouse number 6, number 5, and now number 4. Things weren't too dry, but there was definitely a lot that needed to be watered, and I'm happy I'm finished. Well, it looks like after Daniel got finished working up ground, he went and hooked up to the mechanical transplanter, and now he has it up at the shop. Now, a mechanical transplanter is pretty neat. If you've never seen one, I'll explain how it works. What we do is we set it down onto the soil, and these wheels will turn with the machine, and these wheels drive our units on the back. Now we have these little rubber things on the end called cups, and you take your plant and you set it in there, and then the cups continuously spin with the tires. And then under the machine we have discs that open up the soil, and then the cups come around and they drop the plant into the soil, and we have more discs that close it up behind, basically planting it for us. So we have our trays placed on our units, and then we just continuously move the plants right where we need them to, and we just transplant and transplant and transplant until we're done or we've run out of soil. And what's neat about this machine is it comes with a spacing chart, and there's little sprockets underneath. And when we move the sprockets around, it actually changes the distance between each plant. So depending on the crop, we can move our sprockets around and then have the correct spacing. I would go on record as saying we have planted millions, yes, millions of plants with this machine. We'll start worrying about transplanting in a few minutes because it's lunchtime and I'm ready to eat. Alrighty. Grammy, what are we having for lunch today?
Ham and cheese sandwiches and sticky buns.
Sticky buns, look at these things. Grammy is making sticky buns down here and watermelon. Oh my, this is gonna be a good lunch. We're now all finished with lunch and we're getting ready for planting, so we're gonna get hooked up to our wagon. There just doesn't seem to be enough room down here to pull out one of the wagons with the truck. So So I'm gonna hook up to the first one with this and then pull it up top. And just like that, we are now hooked up to our last wagon. It's a little easier to get around with the side-by-side as opposed to the truck. The truck is just so long, and then with a wagon on the back, well, that just makes it twice as long. Side-by-side works really good. We have now got both wagons down here. We are just about ready to get started planting. All we're waiting for is Dad to show up. Now we do have a few things we're gonna be planting today, just cole crops really, but we do have different varieties here that we need to keep track of. So we have a few different varieties of cabbage we're gonna need to watch out for, same with the broccoli and cauliflower. But it is pretty straightforward because we tag everything. So since everything's tagged, it's kind of easy to keep track of. Now the first thing we're gonna be transplanting is the kale. Now this was the kale that was attacked by our ravenous chickens. Some of it came back, some of it did not. We're just gonna plant what we have. And then from the kale, we'll be moving on to kohlrabi. And then once we are finished with kohlrabi, it's straight into broccoli. Ready to start planting? Yep. Oh yeah, it's time. This kind of gives you an idea of what we're looking at here. We have our cups that are gonna be coming around. Then we have our 2 sets of trays. So we have all different varieties on here as well. So trying to keep track of everything while we're moving can be difficult. But we do have Petey who's gonna be walking behind. We are a man short, so we do not have a full load here on the planter. But since we have Petey walking behind, he's gonna check if we miss anything, he can fix it for us. All right, we are finishing off the last couple plants of kale, and now I am on to kohlrabi. That was pretty quick. We're getting through some more stuff that the chickens were eating, but this should be the last few trays until we get to the cabbage. Then it'll be smooth sailing. So I'm finishing off my last couple plants of the stuff that the chickens have eaten, and now I'm moving on to some nicer stuff. Just got finished with the kohlrabi, now we're on to broccoli. This is our first variety. It's a 73-day broccoli called Asteroid. Well, I have exciting news. We just finished off our first row of cole crops for the year. Kohlrabi, kale, and some broccoli. The first things that have been planted, and let me tell you, ooh, it feels good. We just got back from making another round. Daniel and I each have about a handful of broccoli plants. Now we're moving on to the cauliflower, and then once we're done with the cauliflower, it's into the cabbage. This is the stuff the chickens ate. It's looking good. Chickens can't stop the cabbage, come on. Look at that stuff, gorgeous. What you're seeing here are the last couple broccoli plants going into the cups. I don't know why, it feels like we planted a lot more broccoli than we did last year. But for the first planting, we usually change it up a little bit. And now I am moving into cauliflower. We're just doing a few trays of cauliflower. Probably the biggest reason is our early cauliflower never really does the best, but we're gonna try again because if the cauliflower does well, we'll be happy. These last couple plants I have in my hand are the end of the cauliflower. So now we are on to cabbage. Woo! That's exciting. Now we got a few different cabbage varieties that we're gonna be planting today. And we also have some specialty cabbage. So it's gonna take us a while to get through it all, but it's exciting to be planting something else now. Daniel, I think everybody needs a little cabbage planting in their life. I don't know what to tell you. It just feels good to be out here. Planting cabbage. Cabbage, cabbage, and more cabbage. We just got finished with our first variety. Now we're on to our second, and we've put all the second variety onto the planter. So once we finish off what we have here, we'll be on to another variety. We've explained in the past why we use so many different varieties. Basically, it's just so that we can have a longer harvest period. Multiple varieties, multiple day varieties make that possible for us. Longer, more efficient harvest means that we don't waste as much money and that we can continue to have a nice crop for longer, which everybody enjoys. I'm just seeing line after line of green out through this field. It's looking pretty good. Now, some of you may have noticed that we have not been adding water while we've been planting. So you're probably assuming it's gonna rain tomorrow. You'd be wrong, it's not supposed to rain. But we are gonna do is hook up irrigation pipe. And believe me, I agree with you, middle of May and already touching the irrigation pipe, ugh. But we needed to get this stuff planted and out of the way. We couldn't find a better time to do it. We got a beautiful day on our hands. The only issue is no rain. But we can make our own rain, which is what we're gonna have to do. We've got one more load to put on our planter, and then all we'll have left is our specialty cabbages, like our red cabbage, our Savoy, and our Chinese cabbage. It was a quick load up this time. We had a lot less trays, but we've now got all the specialty cabbage loaded on, and this should be our last pass. Now we're moving right into the specialty cabbages. We have the red cabbage that we're starting off with. And you can tell it's red cabbage just by looking at it, but this stuff gets a beautiful deep red purple color. Some people call it purple cabbage, but we know it as red cabbage. So a little thing we try to do is make sure that our roots stick out just far enough like that. And you don't need to worry about leaving your finger in there. It does not hurt if it closes on it. These are made of rubber, so it squeezes a little bit just to hold the plant, but not too hard to hurt your finger. And I just missed one.
That's what I'm for.
Yeah, Petey gets all the misses.
Notice how Petey has to stay on Andrew's side?
Oh, come on, you missed some too.
I don't know what you're talking about.
And that's the last of the red. Now moving on to the Savoy, which was eaten by the chicken, so it is a little on the smaller side, but it's okay. We got some nice plants here. We finished off our Savoy cabbage, and now we've moved on to our Chinese cabbage, and this is the last of the specialty cabbage. Well, so far so good. We only have a little bit of cabbage left on the planter, and then we'll be done. The back is a little sore from planting, but we are now done. We just got the last of the cabbage put into the soil. I don't know, Dad, how do you feel about getting your first planting done? Yoo-hoo!
Yoo-hoo!
Woohoo! I guess we can all agree that we're a little excited about it. One of my favorite things is walking down through the rows and seeing all of the green. Check that out. Ain't that a beautiful sight? So right up from these cole crops, we got our potatoes planted yesterday, and today we just got our first planting of cole crops in. Man, I don't know what to tell you, but I think summer is on its way. So you just saw quite a bit of planting, and you're probably curious, you know, how many plants did you really put into the soil? Well, today we put over 11,000 into the soil. Now, a lot of the crops that we raised were head crops, so like cabbage, kohlrabi, broccoli. So I mean, there is always some damage from animals and other problems, but we are looking forward to getting around 11,000 different heads harvested. And I don't know about you, but that makes me pretty excited.
And that's just off the first planting. If I can find some more plants, we'll plant more tomorrow.
So we go straight from potatoes into the cole crops. Now that we're done with working in the fields, it is getting to the later part of the day, so we're gonna get the animals taken care of and then head up to the farm market. That should about do it. These pasture cattle don't really need any grain right now. They would be content with just eating grass, but we do give them grain to encourage them to come home, make sure that they get a drink, and we can check on the younger ones. Farm market is now all closed up for the day, so we are on our way up to the house. How was your day? Did you have a good day?
Yeah.
Yeah, good. What did you do? You what? Oh, okay. I don't know what that means. So I got a little sneak peek of what we're having for dinner tonight. We've got some corn, and we also got some chicken tenders and potatoes in the oven. Woo-hoo-hoo! Everybody is now on their way out to the table, so you guys know what that means. This is where we're gonna end the video today. I'd like to thank everyone for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye-bye! Bye-bye!
Bye-bye.